All right, gang, what's going on? So last night was a humiliating loss. We all can agree on that, right? And the way I see it, like I said this morning, everything was normal until the seventh inning. Will Warren kept them in the game, 6 innings, two runs. Aaron Judge went deep with number 44. Cody Bellinger went deep with number 28. And then when the seventh inning started, Armageddon happened, right? Armageddon happened. I don't think any of us, and shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. I don't think any of us would have expected the bullpen, and I'm not saying the entire bullpen, two guys, Fernando Cruz and Mark Leiter Jr., to give up 9 runs and without getting a single out in the seventh inning. Okay, without getting a single out, and which is crazy. You know, Fernando Cruz came in, shit the bed, right? Walked guys, gave up hits, gave up runs, left the bases loaded. They relieved him. Mark Leiter came in after Fernando Cruz, and he gave up all the runs that Cruz put on. Proceeded to reload the bases and then give up those runs too. Cruz was credited with 5 runs, Leiter with 4. And guess what? At no point in time did either one of them get an out. Okay. Tim Hill came in, bailed him out. And that was it for the bullpen. Aside from that, Will Warren was fine. Judge was fine. Bellinger was fine. Right? So, and before, and this leads me to my question, which is the title of Stephen. How come so many fans keep it real after the Yankees lose, but they don't keep it real when they win? Can anybody explain that to me? Seems like we have an awful lot of trolls, paid trolls, only show up when the Yankees lose, but disappear when the Yankees win. When the narratives that they clearly use from other people on Twitter and YouTube aren't working, and they're waiting for their next narrative and talking point, right? Why? Because Leiter hadn't pitched in several days, needed to get him in there, and it wouldn't have mattered. My question: if Hill came into the same thing, or if Yarbrough came into the same thing. Now, my question too is, would you rather have you blown through 6 relievers and had the same result, or those 2 guys? Because now we have Yarbrough, and I'm thinking Yarbrough's being preserved to back up Cam Schlittler, who pitches tomorrow, right? And today it's Carlos Rodon versus Jack Flaherty. Rodon should give us some length, right? I'm guessing. I don't have to explain anything to you, realistic Yankee fan. Okay. I'm guessing Yarborough's, because that's what happened last time. Cam Schlittler has worst start of the season last time out, and Yarbrough came in and gave up. It was like pretty much 1 run or no runs in 5 1/3 innings. He saved the day that day. Jake Bird is in AAA, working on some stuff. Right? I don't know. Is it fair to say we're not a powerhouse? Nobody's saying we're a powerhouse. They're a powerhouse when they're good. They're not a powerhouse on a consistent basis. We're also not 15 light years under. Yeah, we're not 15 light years under a pile of crap either. I agree with that too. There's so many terrible talking points. No, Yarbrough did not throw 40 pitches. He threw like 70 in 5 1/3. He threw like 70. Take a look at it. Okay. Volpe has to work on his footwork, which affects his throwing, which affects his pivoting. Technically, he's off. Fundamentally, he's way off. And like I've said repeatedly, again, I would have no problem just sitting him and playing Jose Caballero, right? Well, I understand, Steve. I get it. But like that's the keeping it real only when they lose and not when they win just shows that you're not keeping it real, right? It shows that you're essentially trolling or using other people's terrible talking points and narratives. We have channels that say, "Oh, we're keeping it real all the time." If they only give their side of the story, spend more time bashing players, and people use that garbage and bring it into other channels, right? And and then when I get folks who tell me, don't tell us how to fan." First of all, nobody's telling you how to fan. But the fact of the matter is, you're telling the players how to do their job, Boone how to manage, Cash how to GM, and Hal how to own. You're telling everybody how to do their jobs, and you don't want to be told how to fan. You have any idea how ridiculous that sounds? And nobody's telling you can't fan the way you want to fan. But if you're going to fan that way, it's not going to come without consequences. It's not going to come without people disagreeing with you, and you have to be ready to back up your arguments, right? Well, I don't know if I wouldn't say they pulled them early. Well, Warren gave us 6 innings yesterday, right? Let me pull this up really quickly. Yesterday's stats from the game. Oops. Will Warren had 91 pitches. Yeah, it was pretty much at his limit. Pretty much at his limit, right? I have, and Go Blue, I have pointed out the deficiencies. I have. But talking about it every single day, 20 times a day, and not crediting them for things that they do well is not keeping it real. That's telling people what I think they want to hear. That's not keeping it real. Okay? And you could tell those channels that too. I don't give a damn what they say. But it's pretty obvious there's a couple of people who spend more time trashing the team and don't spend any time giving them credit for what they do right. The Yankees, does anybody realize the last 25 games before yesterday, the Yankees had the best 25-game stretch of any team in baseball? They were like, it was either 18-7 or 19-6. They were on a monster run, right? Then they ran into this brick wall that they created themselves yesterday. They built that brick wall, knocked it down over themselves, built it up again, knocked it down over themselves, and then Tim Hill came in, knocked it away from them, right? Facts of the matter is, no, it's not being, that's called being grounded. No, it's not. Being grounded is calling it both ways, not telling people what they want to hear when you think they want to hear it. Okay? I don't play one side. I tell it both sides. We criticize them when it's justified. We give them credit when it's justified. Period. Okay? I don't need a constant tap on my back or an ego stroke like some of these other people do. I don't need to tell people how great I am like some of these people do. Oh, nobody does it like us. Yeah, exactly. Nobody peddles just one side of the story. Well, actually, I can't say that too. I know I don't tell on one side of the story. Okay. People spend more time trashing the guys, and most of the people who do that have never played the game. Never played the game. So they cannot even speak from a personal perspective of experience. Best 25 guys, crap competition. Really, they just beat Astros. They just beat the Blue Jays, first place teams. And you got to get your talking points right, dude. You got to get your talking points right. They won the series against 2 first place teams. Get your talking points right, dude. Don't bring that here. You're going to get called out on it. You're going to get picked apart. And as a matter of fact, why don't you come on the screen? I'll give you the link. You can come on the screen. Well, I don't. Yeah, Top. I mean, coaches need. Yeah, they got to get better at their game too. So do the umpires. They need to get better. These guys need retraining, just like players do. There's no doubt about that. There's no denying that. I know trolls come on the trash other channels. That's what they do. They have nothing better to do with their time. No, credit not going to justify if you win a title. Credit gets justified along the way too. Can't win a title unless you're doing things right along the way. That's the standard by who? That's you're entitled to your opinion. Do you own the Yankees? No. Do you work for them? No. Have you played Major League Baseball? No. Okay. So what experience are you speaking from? Come on right now, Ant. Come on. I don't care if you're at work. Go take a walk. Go take a break. Come on the stream, man. I don't know why he swung at the 3-1 pitch. I have no idea. Siciliano, what's good? Does anybody know this? So when Anthony Volpe takes a first pitch, when he's a bat, he bats barely 180. When he swings at the first pitch, he bats almost 300. His approach is different. I never said I played MLB, Ant, but I'm not here peddling one side of the story, giving both sides. So I call out bullshit. I don't push it. And none of those other channels will come on here and do it either. They can face me too. You can come on tonight then. Come on my post game, man, when you're not working. You're welcome to. More than welcome. You come on. No problem. I'll be more than happy to give you the link. Pretty good, Robert. What's good, man? Yeah, apparently some folks, and it's real fans, or being real to real fans and blah, blah, blah. But they only seem to be real fans when they're winning. When they're losing, they have all the excuses in the world. It's blame the blame game or the scapegoat and so on and so forth. They seem to disappear and abandon the team when they struggle. That's not being real. Okay? It's not being real. Oh, couch coach, yeah, oh, yeah. Well, that too. I get that. Yeah, toppers, 100%. Armchair GMs count. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. I mentioned this yesterday, Peanut, right? And it's a different conversation. So let's just say, before the trade deadline, with regards to Anthony Volpe, they had, who were they going to replace him with? Oswald Peraza? He was playing worse than Volpe. So, no sense. After the trade deadline, they have Jose Caballero. And I'm more in favor of playing more Caballero more often right now, sitting Volpe a little bit more. And we can't afford to play favorites right now. Now, the point that it's I don't think it's a, and I don't know why people use Dominguez as the comparison to Volpe, because at no point in time in the season has Dominguez outplayed anybody in the outfield. At no point in time has it justified sitting anyone in the outfield for Dominguez. Okay. Don't go nuts for winning a few games? Who's not going nuts for winning a few games? People are flipping out over one loss. Right? Before this stretch started, people were like, oh, we're going to go 3-8. We're going to get swept by all the teams. Then all the people that said that disappeared when the Yankees won the series against the Astros. Every day, everybody in here will confirm that. All the trolls, they don't show up when the Yankees win. Okay? Then the same thing happened with the Blue Jays. Oh, the Blue Jays are going to sweep the Yankees. The Yankees won that series. Gone. Disappeared. They wait for stuff like last night to come show up, peddle crap, and leave. And the Yankees win tonight. They're going to be not here again. Right? CeeLo, what's good? Yeah, and yes, Jonathan, thank you. Congratulations to Anthony Rizzo, who officially announced his retirement. He's going to retire as a Cub and a well-deserved career, a great career. And he's a total pro, classy guy. I wish him all the best. Nobody's saying it's not an embarrassing loss. I've said it repeatedly. But again, it's gone now. We can't change it. Got to make adjustments. Got to move forward today. Got to move. Got to. If it was 3-2, people would still be bitching. Jake, you know that. Why didn't Boone this? Why didn't Boone that? They would have blamed other people. They would have blamed Boone and then Volpe for not making that play that nobody was going to make. Nobody was going to make that play that he tried that he couldn't go backwards for. Okay, so let's be real about that too. Nobody was going to make that play. Right? But yeah, I would have. Yeah, DJ. My guess is he'll hang up the shoes to hang up the cleats as well. I don't know if Rizzo makes the Hall of Fame, but he'll probably be borderline. He'll probably be borderline. None of us like they gave up 9 runs in one inning. What's worse about it is the two guys that gave them up didn't get a single out. Cruz and Leiter. Now, this is the type of performance that, if the Yankees make the postseason, probably keeps Leiter off the postseason roster, right? Unless he comes back and has some really great games. Same thing with Cruz. Cruz has built up a little bit more trust because he gets a lot of strikeouts. He gets a lot of big outs. But last night he sucked. Last night Leiter sucked. There's no denying that. Nobody's saying they didn't, right? None of us liked that, Jeffrey, last night. It was terrible. It was embarrassing. And it happened on a day that the Red Sox won and the Boston and the Jays came from behind and beat the Astros in extra innings. The Yankees lost the game as well. Okay? So it all happened. It all happened last night. What could Boone have done differently, Jake? This is not on Boone last night. This is on the bullpen. Two guys in the bullpen. The game was 2-2 up to that point. The bullpen caused that problem. And like I said, people are like, why didn't he go to... Would you rather Boone have used 6 relievers and still had the same result, or use 2? Okay? Now he has all the other guys they can deploy tonight. Had he used a bunch of them last night, he wouldn't have had them available tonight. And people would have been attacking him for that. Okay? It's the player's job. This is their job. Boone's not the babysitter. He can't do their work for them. And unfortunately, we know this too. Analytics has way too much influence. This is why I keep saying Mike Fishman should be at the postgame with Boone every single day. He should have to answer the questions that Boone should not have to answer. If he gets overruled by analytics, Boone should not have to answer that for them. Mike Fishman should be there every single day to face the fire. Every single day. Warren's a rookie. He got through 6 innings. Okay, they need him for the rest of the season too. So at that point, nobody would have thought that this was going to happen last night. This has nothing to do with Boone. This is not a Boone thing. Why are we scapegoating Aaron Boone on this? Cruz and Leiter, this is on them. 100%. Oh, they got to win tonight. They got to win tomorrow. Now, we don't know who's on the mound for the Tigers tomorrow yet. We know Cam Schlittler's on the mound. We know it's Carlos Rodon versus Jack Flaherty tonight and Cam Schlittler versus whoever tomorrow. Right? I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm the wrong person to ask. You gotta ask the team that. But it doesn't matter. If Duvall was not, if Duvall was brought in, he shit the bed too. Then with the same thing, we'd be blaming Boone for bringing in Boone and bringing in Duvall and not someone else. You see the narrative. It's constantly, no matter who Boone brings in. If they don't pitch well, you blame Boone and not the pitcher who doesn't do well. People have been fed this garbage by other channels and people on Twitter constantly. It is constant. Andrew, welcome to the family, brother. Welcome to the family, brother. And my man, Mikey Mazza, is in the house. He finally congratulations to Mike Mazza and the family. They just had their baby. Okay. All the best to you and your family and your new addition. Hope you and your wife got some sleep and are recovering well. Very, very happy for you. Very, very happy for Mikey Mazza, man. Ford Train Express. Tampa Bay, Los Angeles, yeah. I mean, they also, well, at least the Los Angeles Dodgers, they employ different. They're owned by a $400 billion ownership group. Here you go, Coach Carl. There he is. And he hasn't been performing in situations like that, Ant. He still has to. And this is a Matt Blake thing. He has to work on release points. His release points. If from somebody who's played baseball, somebody who's pitched, you can see his release points are off. And he's got a big arm. He's going to need this offseason to work on this stuff. Just like Jake Bird, he's going to need more. And Jake Bird also was overused by the Rockies. It's another reason why you're not seeing him. Okay. The same thing happened with Mark Leiter. When the Cubs overused him, he had a rough month and a half. He sucked. And then he turned it on in the postseason. Okay. The Rockies overused Jake Bird too. Okay. That has nothing to do with Boone, has nothing to do with Matt Blake. Matt Blake's got to work on certain things with Camilo Duvall. But I'm very confident Duvall came in, did the same thing, people would be blaming Boone for. Not you, maybe, but other people would be. Because that's what they do. They scapegoat people. Right? Yeah, New York was due for a whooping. They hadn't had one in a long time, Brother Bill. They were 18-7 in the last 25 games. Again, the best stretch in baseball. They picked up a bunch of games in the standings. That does matter. And this happened last night. We'll see how they respond to it. I'm more interested to see what they do today and tomorrow. See how they respond to it. The Devastators in the building. And Detroit's also in a pennant race. They are a first-place team. But the fact is, the Yankees just beat 2 first-place teams. So that narrative that the Yankees can't beat good teams is right now. It's trash. We're leading the wild card in Luis Hernandez. I mean, first place is more of a long shot. We're going to need to play extremely well. We're going to need the Blue Jays to have some bad breaks. So, I'm not ruling it out yet because they're not mathematically eliminated, but they're going to need some good fortune to get first place. But if the problem is, too, if they tied with the Blue Jays at the end of the season, the Blue Jays already have the tiebreaker. So the Blue Jays would take the division. So the Yankees would have to win the division outright in order to get a more favorable playoff advantage. Otherwise, it looks like they would have to face the Red Sox in the wild card, which I don't know about that. I fear the Red Sox more than do the Astros. Franchise in the building. What's good, franchise? San Francisco is a super nice stadium. I think Dominguez gets moved this offseason, Justin. I think he's got to get moved for relief pitching with controllable years. The Yankees they've got to bring in some relievers. Yeah, the Yankees' record right now. Remember, they won 94 games last year. That's what got them the division and so on and so forth. The Yankees are 80-64, 16 over 500. So yes, we'll definitely need help. Yeah, there's no denying that. There's no denying that. Relievers available in 2026. I mean, Luke Weaver's going to be a free agent. Devin Williams is going to be a free agent. The Yankees, I think, are going to have to make trades. Aroldis Chapman has suddenly learned how to pitch again in Boston. He's probably going to get Cy Young votes the way he's pitching. And we're also going to be faced, when we go to Fenway, we got Lucas Giolito, Brian Bello, and Garrett Crochet, the 3 pitchers we're going to be facing in Fenway Park. The Yankees are going to have to run through that. Okay. Well, exactly. That far over 500 without Cole, Schmidt, Cousins, Oswaldo Cabrera, a bunch of guys hurt all year, missing all year. And they're still at 16 games over 500. Yep, the Blue Jays just put Bichette on the IL. Yes, they did. And the Red Sox have recently put Jordan Hicks on the IL, and somebody else. Roman Anthony on the IL. Yeah, I don't think Williams is going to be back. Luke Weaver, maybe, maybe, but I don't see Devin Williams coming back. You got to get a favorable playoff position. If they win the division, they don't have to face the Red Sox in the wild card. That matters. So the Yankees, if they were, and they are, I know this, and I can't stand the bull only talking points that the Yankees are not prioritizing winning because they went to a charity event on their day off. Like, let's get real, people. Let's get real. Like, come on. Trent Grisham's going to get a QO. I'm pretty confident about that. Grisham. Pitchers? No. No pitchers. Yeah, Carlos Rodon hosted a charity event the other day on their day off. It was nighttime. They don't practice at night. They practice during the day. So they did what they needed to do during the day. Right? People are complaining that they went to a gala, got dressed up to do charity work. Right? It makes sense to do it during the season when people are still around. When the off season ends, people go away. There's less people to go to charity events. Right? But this is the type of talking points, BS, that's peddled around Twitter that people bring onto the channel. How could I not call that out? Right? I'm not sure Halsey would be a good fit. He's not. Well, he got. I don't know if he's pitching well now, but he wasn't. He hasn't been pitching well in Queens. Ryan Halsey with the Mets. Right. I don't know. Halsey's another one's to be a free agent. Yeah. You got Kyle Finnegan, who I think is with the Tigers actually, if I'm not mistaken. I think or the Rangers. He was traded by the Nationals. There's a couple other folks. Yeah, they're not mathematically eliminated. No. The listing of injuries has to be talked about because those are valuable contributors to the team. Okay, when they get injured, either early in the season, after free agency's over, or during the season, when after the trade deadline, something like that, and you cannot replace them with somebody that can perform or who's available, that does matter. It does matter. Otani would definitely be a good fit, Coach Carl. Big time. Bring time. Big time. I don't think Luis Arias is coming here. He wouldn't have a position to play. I think Trent Grisham's going to get a QO and walk. I would keep Cody Bellinger. That's what I would do, and let Trent Grisham walk. Get some compensation for him. Well, I mean, he's had an amazing year, Trent Grisham. Yeah. Season doesn't stop to injury. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but again, you have to have the right players to be able to step up, right? Who was going to replace Garrett Cole that we had? Cam Schluler didn't come up until what, July, August, right? Who's going to replace? They tried to replace Oswaldo Cabrera with Oswald Cabrera and Oswald Peraza and some of these other guys. They sucked, so they had to trade for Caballero and Ahmed Rosario, right? You have to wait. You can't just replace them. You can't just make a phone call and say, hey, send your guy over. We'll give you a crap return. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. Stanton's got 2 guaranteed years and then a mutual option for 2028. He's got two guaranteed years, 26 and 27 as an option. And if he's close to 500 home runs after 2027, I can see the Yankees bringing him back. But if he gets 500 before that, then I could see them letting him walk and give him his buyout. Cole is on track to come back in May or June. Okay, May or June, as far as we know right now. He's already throwing. I know that. I've seen him throwing. So I like McMahon too. He was a better fit for the Yankees, and I agree with you there. It's not weird at all. It was a good fit for the Yankees. McMahon's staying. Wells is staying, Justin. And until they do something at shortstop, Volpe is staying. Now, maybe I don't know if they're going to entertain a trade. I've talked about it on the channel. But Volpe's got 3 years of arbitration ahead of him, too. But keep this in mind, okay? Keep this in mind. Once you start arbitration, let's just say the Yankees trade Jason Dominguez, and I was talking to Ken a little while ago from Ugly Truth. Let's just say they trade Dominguez and a pitcher to the Angels, right? The Angels need an outfielder and pitching, and they get Zach Neto in return and Reed Detmers, right? And they'll send another prospect to Roderick Arias or whatever. And you're like, why would they trade Neto? And why is Volpe not the trade? Well, maybe the Angels don't want him. So what can the Yankees do? There's something that the Yankees can do if they can't trade Anthony Volpe. Okay, I'm going to give you all a minute. I don't know if you remember this. I've talked about this before. There's something you can do for arbitration players. Outfield next year, I think, is going to be Judge, Bellinger, and center field is going to be probably Spencer Jones, or if they bring in someone else, something like that. You can non-tender a player. Non-tender is an option for arbitration. Non-tender means what? You don't have to pay him. You could just let him walk. You can do that to arbitration players. You cannot do that to people who have signed free agent contracts. You can send them down too, but where's he going to go? If you get Neto, then it doesn't make much sense to send down Volpe because he's not going to come back up to replace Neto, right? You can non-tender him. Somebody will pick him up. Angels might even pick him up. Yeah, exactly, and Stephen B. You non-tender him. That's an option that teams have that gives them an advantage in for arbitration players. You can non-tender somebody. I think Dominguez is going to get moved with Beagle. Honestly, I don't see. I see Bellinger. This person, I just see Bellinger, Spencer Jones. I see them. I could see them signing an outfielder on the cheap because they're not ready to call up some of their other guys. Right? There's two other outfield prospects I talked about recently that are behind Spencer Jones that I encourage fans to keep their eyes on. I talked about them. I profiled both of them recently. Well, I think the Yankees will try to trade Volpe too, and Jonathan, no doubt about it. They'll try to trade him. If they can't trade him, they can non-tender him. If you get a Neto, then you could try to trade Volpe somewhere for pitching. A reliever, or something like that at that point. Some team would take Volpe, yeah. With tie upside, 3 arbitration years on the cheap, and you get what you get with him. But the Yankees get somebody like Neto, and I don't know if that's going to be available, a possibility, because Neto's a big upgrade over Anthony Volpe. Why would the Angels do that without having a shortstop to replace him with? And again, if the Yankees non-tender him, then the Angels could pick him up for dirt cheap. Right? I think Bellinger's going to come back, in my personal opinion. I think he's going to play outfield. Spencer, I was looking at his stats yesterday. He's got 33 home runs, 75 RBI. He's got like 27 steals. He's about to get 30-30. His OPS is like 930. So he's pretty good. But the problem is he's blocked here right now for guys that we have now. Right? And we also have Austin Slater. So you have guys now. I don't think Grisham's going to get re-signed, personally. I think he's going to walk in free agency, get a starting job somewhere else. I mean, I have no problem using Caballero for the rest of the way here now. We cannot afford to play favorites right now. We can't. Right? You have to put the best team on the field every day. And right now, and I understand Caballero doesn't get on a base a lot, but when he's on base, he wreaks havoc on the base paths, right? So I want to, and again, even if Anthony Volpe, I would just instruct Anthony Volpe, swing at the first pitch. This is where he has the highest batting average. If he gets on base, pinch run Anthony and Caballero, and keep Caballero in the rest of the game immediately. I would do that if you're gonna start Volpe, right? Lombard Jr. is ready. Probably, I think he'll be up in 2027. He might be a late September call next year. You know it, Justin. I think they're going to sign one of them, but I think they're going to trade Dominguez regardless. Peanut. I honestly think they're going to trade Dominguez. Try to get like a good relief pitcher with controllable years or something like that. But they're gonna, there's a whole bunch of chatter out there saying the Yankees are gonna move on from Volpe this offseason and blah blah blah. Lombard is still in Double A. He's hitting extremely well now too. He's heating up again. But I don't know, unless we get confirmation or corroboration from a bunch of other sources, which haven't happened yet, the Volpe's going to be here until they move on from him, right? Ness, TBG. Look at the title. I said, why do so many folks keep it real when they lose, but they disappear when they win? That's not keeping it real. It's not. That's trolling. Right? And guess who calls that out? Guess who doesn't care what people think? Yep, Rodriguez, Cruz, and LaGrange too. They both need to be on the 40-man. So does Spencer Jones. Right? We have Jake Cousins coming back next year. So we had Tommy John. So at some point he'll be back next year. Losing him sucked this year. Losing Oswaldo Cabrera sucked. We are 4-3 on this stretch, Shake Boss. Yes, we are. Michael Caine, TBS squad, say that the front office in Boone feel that Volpe has cheated. I haven't heard Boone say that. I haven't heard Boone say that, so I can't say anything. I think there is a possibility. If you hold Bellinger and Grisham, then you're going to probably trade Dominguez or Jones, or maybe both, because it doesn't make sense to keep them at that point. Just call up Brendan Jones. And yes, they do cut. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, so many folks say the Yankees farm is terrible, but our farm gets rated more than any other farm in the Rule 5 draft. Thank you for bringing that up, Coach Carr. Our farm gets rated more than anybody in Rule 5. And Jonathan will confirm that too, right? So we talk about Rule 5 all the time, Jonathan. And like Jonathan, so who needs to be up? Rodriguez, Cruz, LaGrange, Spencer Jones, Chase Hampton. Who else needs to be up here? And I do think Dominguez is the odd man out. But to me, Jones has a bit higher upside than Dominguez does. And he's already an elite outfielder too. Dominguez is not. So he has the edge already. I think some of it has to do with overthinking, and some of it has to do with fundamentals. I could see his footwork is not where it needs to be. And his footwork's affect his ability to pivot, backstep, throw, right? Load when you're throwing. If your footwork isn't where it needs to be, if you're not down here, if you spread your legs out and you can get in front of the ball, if your footwork is closer to you, that makes it more difficult for you to load, pivot, and throw, which is why some of his throws have been so deficient. He's bouncing the ball at first base. You could tell his footwork is not where it needs to be. Oh, Henry Lane, but Henry Lane, he's probably a trade candidate. I could see Henry Lane being traded too. Why KF played out of position? He played out of position. Jason Dominguez, either in the minors or I think he gets traded for relief pitching this offseason, Coach Carl. I really do. Because the problem, and I'll say this, and this is not an insult on Dominguez, he has not played well enough to justify sitting anybody in the outfield. Anybody. You have to earn that playing time in the major league level. He hasn't done that. Okay? This is why I didn't too. This is Grisham is having a career year like a Brady Anderson. For those that don't know about it, he played for the Orioles, right? He used to hit like 15, 16 home runs a year. And all of a sudden, he hit 50 in 1 year. And people are like, oh my God, he hit 50? He went right back down next year. I could see the same thing happening with Grisham, going back down to his normal production after this year, which is why I think the Yankees will be wise to give him a QO and walk on, because he will get a 4 or 5 year deal with big money from somebody. I'm not sure if it's in. Well, at least for me, Jeffrey, it's not impatient. We just have better outfielders than Dominguez, so it makes sense to sell while it's hot, and strike while iron's hot. I don't say real fans. I don't talk. I don't do this real talk garbage that other people do. Right? Yet so many folks on social media, YouTube, Twitter, and blah blah blah. Right? What do? They trash the Yankees. They spend more time trashing the Yankees, looking for people to boon. It's the constant Boone, Volpe, Devin Williams. It's the constant circle every year, right? Oh, this year, and then when the trolls, they come here on the stream when the Yankees lose, and they disappear when they win. That's not being real, okay? And channels that also claim that to be real peddle one side of the story and don't peddle the other side. That's not being real, okay? It's not. Well, I think Volpe. I think Volpe they should sit Volpe, Ness, and play Caballero. Yeah, he does like Caballero. The problem is he's not replacing Boone enough. I mean, replacing Volpe enough. But yeah, I mean, I'm fine with bringing in Caballero, but we got to bring him on, and we got to bring in Med Rosario on a regular basis too. Dude, if you're gonna give only your side of the story and what people want to hear and ignore all the other stuff, that is not real talk, right? That is propaganda. That's fair weather crap. Period. I think it right, Ant. It reminds me of Brady Anderson. Good, good, good. He was just awesome, and then back down to good, good, good. Same thing reminds me of Trent Grisham. So you gotta sell. You gotta strike while iron's hot. Give him a QO. Let him walk. Bellinger has an MVP under his belt. He's always been an elite defender. He's got a longer track record. So yeah, exactly. Talk with facts, not opinions. Exactly, Jonathan. Thank you. And yeah, Bourne, of course, is trying to protect Volpe. Yeah, of course. That's going to piss a lot of fans off. I get it. He's not going to throw his players under the bus. No manager is going to do that, especially a Yankee manager. Okay, that's why one of the reasons why Girardi got fired. And I agree. Caballero would have probably bunted for that hit, even though he got thrown out the other day trying to bunt. But that happens. He bunted the ball a little hard. So, but it is what it is. I just want to see more of Caballero. I want to see more of Rosario. Mm-hmm. I didn't. Why did the trolls only show up when on these streams when the Yankees lose and they disappear when they win? Yeah, Brady was a solid player. I think Grisham's a solid player. He's just having a phenomenal year this year. Phenomenal. And he's of his 30 home runs, more than 20 of them have put the Yankees in a lead or tied the game. There isn't any more clutch player on this team this year offensively than Trent Grisham. And I think Bellinger's a close second with Stanton right there too. They take criticism all the time, man. They take you know my problem. You know what I have issues with? Content creators who trash their players, or they'll ask them to make a move, and then when they make the move, they will take zero ownership of the fact that they actually asked them to make the move that didn't work, and they say, "Well, I asked them to do it." They won't take any ownership of that stuff. They just go right to blaming people. They do it all the time, right? All the time. They cannot handle being called out on their BS. Well, this is true too, Jonathan. They have nothing to do with that. You got that right. I have no idea, Peanut. I mean, I don't know how it's mentally affecting him. Not sure. Bellinger, not Tucker. You know, these radio shows, most of those people have never played ball either. Right? CeeLo? Yeah, my wife tells me the same thing. You need help, honey. Stop talking about the Yankees. Why are you so angry for? I feel you, CeeLo. I feel you, bro. So I don't know. But again, Volpe seemed fine the other day when he had his at the Carlos Rodon charity event when he had his perfect 10 girlfriend next to him. So he's the Yankee shortstop, makes a lot of money, okay, and got a super hot, phenomenal girlfriend. And I love people who can never pull a 10 are all over Volpe for that. Like, and why is the obsession? Like Volpe didn't blow the game last night, but people were talking about him today. He had nothing to do with it last night. The bullpen did. Yeah, Brendan Jones. Yeah, he doesn't hit for power, but if he gets on base, he runs the bases a lot. Yeah, Johnson. He's a guy that I think could be a fourth outfielder for the Yankees next year. Could be. Well, it's like Aaron Rodgers reminds me of Aroldis Chapman. Aaron Rodgers all of a sudden learned how to play again after he left New York. Aroldis Chapman learned how to pitch again after he left New York. It's like ridiculous. And Gleyber Torres, yeah, learned how to play again. Got out of the pressure cooker. I mean, Boston's relatively pressure cooker, but Aroldis Chapman is pitching like a damn Cy Young Award winner. Yeah, I don't listen to the podcast either. I don't listen to him. Yeah. We have some of the fastest guys here. We have to do hit and runs. We have to let these guys steal bases. I don't know, and I can't speak for analytics, but if they're overruling, and we heard, I mean, and even Clint Frazier said this, and I mean, it's got to be corroborated, but he said that analytics was telling him, specifically not to bunt, not to steal bases. Why would analytics do that? Why? We don't have the right guys running the base paths, Sam. Why? I mean, the guys that bring the energy are sitting on the bench. Caballero, Rosario. Why are they sitting on the bench? Stanton's a 35-year-old man and 90-year-old man's legs. He can't run. The rest of the guy, I mean, the guys that do run. Judge, these men steals. Cody Bellinger steals. Like some of these other guys steal bags. Volpe steals. Jazz steals. Like those guys do, but we need these guys that create havoc on the base paths, which is why I'm in favor of, telling Volpe, with his stats confirmed this year at least, he bats almost 300 when he swings at the first pitch. He bats under 180 when he takes the first pitch. So swing at the first pitch and try to get on base, please. And try to get the ball to the gaps, right? Just try to get him a double or a single. And at that point, I would put Caballero in there. Please. Appreciate you, Tappers 212. Appreciate you, bro. I mean, Chapman is first of all, he's a physical monster. He's always been a physical monster, right? Absolute monster. So, right? I appreciate you, Toppers, man. Appreciate you, bro. No, Volpe does not need to swing for the fences. 100%, Jonathan. He does not. Level swings. Put the ball in the gap, please. Try to get on base. Try to steal bags. If you're not going to do that, we got the fastest guy in the American League, the American League stolen base leader, on the bench, just waiting. Put him in for somebody. Put him in for McMahon if he gets on base later on in the game. Just get him in there at some point regularly. Please. We have these weapons. We should be deploying them. Amir Rosario hits lefties well. Austin Slater hits lefties well. And Austin Slater is probably the reason Spencer Jones is not up here. So, and I'd rather have, I don't want Spencer Jones to come up here and not play. But, who are they going to sit in the outfield for Spencer Jones? That's the other question. When they're doing it up here extremely well right now. Doesn't make any sense. To me, if Spencer Jones comes, Dominguez is not playing. You might as well just move Dominguez. Period. Yeah, I have no idea what the Yankees have done to his swing, CeeLo. But I wouldn't be surprised. No, I wouldn't be surprised. I would just be working to hit the ball in the gap if I was Anthony Volpe. But when he hits when he swings at the first pitch, you could see his stats too. I have it here. His stats are swinging at the first pitch. Let's see, 297 batting average, 321 on base, 829 OPS, and his K rate is 23%. When he takes the first pitch, 174 batting average, 251 on base, 604 OPS, 26% strikeout rate. It's pretty significantly different. It's a different stat that I don't think anybody's looking into. You might be right, and he could be guessing. Could be thinking too much, right? Just swing at the first pitch. And please don't try to put it over the fence. We have 8 other guys here who hit 20-plus home runs. We don't need more home runs from you. We lead the majors in home runs. What are you going to do? You're going to add to our lead? Okay. We need guys to get on base and steal. You're fast also. Get on base and steal freaking bases. No, Dominguez is. I agree, CeeLo. Dominguez has not played himself into playing time. Right now, if the Yankees get the wild card, they face the Red Sox. If they win the division, they face somebody else, probably the Astros or someone else. Flores, yeah, Flores has been playing well. Yep. What they say in the movie Moneyball, when you miss the first pitch, yeah, the hitting approach changes, and that to me, this is a smarter use of analytics. If I'm the Yankees, smarter use from the Yankees. The more he works the count, the less disciplined he becomes, and you can see it by watching the guy. The less disciplined his hitting approach is. If he swings at the first pitch, is much more productive hitter. This is a clear path to utilize, right? Robert, I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate the kind words, man. And I'm fighting for ways to make them better, reasons to think differently, reasons to productively think. Scapegoating people and blaming people every single day does nothing. It brings zero value. That's why I don't do it. Okay? Yeah, exactly. But Brian, being down 0-1 is way different than being up 1-0. Yes, it is. And he's much less disciplined when he's down in the count than when he's up in the count. Got that right, Ken. What do you know, my man? Fire everyone, Fisherman, Boom Cash. Yeah. The fair weather movement has begun. Exactly, Beagle. I don't want to listen to a daily complaint. That's why I don't listen to any of these people. No. Right? I'd rather fight for try to get them make them better. I'm not going to lie down during adversity. Quitters do that. Winners don't do that. Right? I think this is probably a component, Brother Bill, of both, right? You could tell fundamentally that his footwork is not where it needs to be. His footwork needs to be wider. Okay, and that allows him to go to the work to get the ball, scoop, pivot, and throw with momentum. If his feet are shoulder width apart, he cannot load into his pivot and throw phase. Right, that's one of the things I keep noticing, and just take a look at it. His footwork, okay, it's not where it needs to be, and it's something that whoever works with him on that needs to work with him more. Right. Dang, I appreciate you, bro. Well, this is what I'm talking about. Like, why do so many other folks just gaslight people with a narrative and a talking point, and they never talk about productive stuff like this ever? Because propaganda gets views, gets clicks, gets subscribers. Rage and anger and hate gets subscribers and views. Okay, fine. Then go right ahead and do that. Exactly, Ken. Well, the trolls generally come in the post game because it's fresh. Like, I told you he sucked. It's terrible. So we'll see if the Yankees lose tonight, Ken. They'll be there. The Yankees win tonight, they won't. Right? No. That's just the way that they operate, the trolls. The armchair GMs, the keyboard tough guys, the Twitter tough guys. You know what I'm saying? Friday 13th, baby. That's right, man. Friday 13th game is the new game is coming, man. It's coming, baby. That's right. A-Rod and Jeter pointed out what his footwork. They definitely need to bounce back from last night. 100%. Got to hit Flaherty. It's Rodon versus Flaherty. We need a link from Rodon. No doubt about it. Yeah, why are they stealing bags in the minors, but not in the majors? That's a good point too, Bill. Right? Why does analytics have so much influence at the majors, but nowhere else? Right? Yeah, I don't listen to the Facebook tough guys either. It's pointless. It's pointless. So, Jonathan, what A-Rod and Jeter are talking about Volpe's footwork, you could tell. You could tell. Friday 13th, baby. I don't know. I have no idea, Jonathan. I don't know, but his organization wants a power. We haven't had one with Jeter wasn't a power hitting shortstop either. Like, none of these guys are. Right? And I don't know why they against steal. I don't know what's the point. The problem with stealing bases. You steal first, you steal second, and somebody gets a single, you score. You don't steal second, somebody gets a single, you maybe get the third. You can manufacture a lot of runs by stealing bases. You steal third, somebody hits a sac fly with less than 2 outs, so you can tag up and score. This is fundamental baseball. So I'm glad they're talking about it too. I didn't see that. I got to take a look at that. But his footwork is definitely. You watch Jeter and A-Rod. They had their feet were wider. It made it easier to drop down, pivot, and load. Right? And then I'm speaking also from a long, 2 decades long martial artist. Front stances, they're wide. Horse stances, wide. There's no stance where our feet are narrow. There's a fighting stance if you want to kick, right? Your feet have to be a little bit closer together because you're not going to kick from a front stance, so it'll be off balance. But when it comes to fielding, loading, and turning, your feet have to be wider. They do. Jeter stumbled when he first came out here too. Yeah. Yeah, you got to play like you exactly. Volpe forced his way on, man. He outplayed Peraza, made them bring him on here. You got to get back to that stuff. You gotta bring it, man. Yeah. His approach or what, on the field or at bat, Chocolate? Matsui, yeah. And so is Spencer Jones. If you look at Spencer Jones, okay, he hits for power. He also hits for speed. Okay, he steals a lot of bases too, Spencer Jones. And guess what that means? He's stealing bases. That means he's getting on base without hitting home runs. So he's either walking or getting singles or doubles, right? So he gets on all the time, okay? And let me pull up his stats too. These are simple stats, just like maybe I'm a little bit of a math. I'm a math nerd, so maybe it's just me mathing stuff a little too much. But this stuff just adds up, right? Now Spencer Jones stats. The dude's got mad power. We know this, right? He's got 33 home runs this year. Okay, 2025. Where the hell is it? Okay, he's got 26 steals this year. He's got 20 doubles and a triple. How many walks? Where is base and balls? 53 walks. So he's getting on a fair amount of time. He's got 109 hits also. So with 20 walks, 89 of them, 20 doubles, 89 of his hits are not doubles. 88 of them are singles. One of them is a triple. So he's got 88 opportunities to steal bases. And he does that. So Spencer Jones does get on. Now his batting average, 272. His on base, 360. His slugging, 574. His OPS, 933. Balanced across the board. Well, I get happy about minor league stats because we generally don't have minor league stats that are this robust. Well, and Spencer Jones, one of the few guys that is getting better as he elevates through the system. Volpe's not playing well, Van. Volpe's not playing well. A lefty at first? Well, we have Ben Rice. You mean a lefty thrower? I don't know. I think either one is fine. I think his footwork, he needs to load better and throw the ball better. If he modifies, if he works on his footwork, he'll be in a better position to throw the ball more frequently to first base in a position that's going to make it easier for the first baseman to catch it. Yeah, stealing bases is easier now with these two to 3 pickoff limits too. You try to throw there a third time, it becomes a balk. So immediately, even if they try to steal on third attempt, you try to throw there, it becomes a balk. So there are ways that base runners can can wreak havoc. And yeah, exactly, Brother Bill. Yeah, Matsui is another guy. Yeah, I guess they can. I mean, that's James Rosen's job and the other hitting coach's job, right? Yeah, well, that's what I mean. If your feet are planted wider, then you can do what? You can step towards. You can use your right foot, step towards your left, and extend your left foot. You're already stepping towards the base that you're throwing to. If your feet are wider, it makes it easier to take that second step and give you momentum. If your feet are narrow, it makes it difficult to get momentum in your footwork. So that's one thing I would work with Volpe too. Minor league stats, yeah, they do make great trade, Ken. That's a great point too, Ken. Yes. Volpe is, I mean, technically, I mean, fundamentally, it looks like he's pressing. So, yeah, you can be off balance wide and be fluid. It's easier to gain footing when you're wide than when you're narrow. Easier to reposition yourself, right? But yeah, it's much easier to become off balance when you're narrow. Last thing, I got invited to the movies last night. I went to see The Conjuring with the people that I teach karate with. So they invited me to the movies. That's why I went last night. That's why I went live this morning too, so I can kind of recap the game since I didn't get to do it last night. The bunt attempt was definitely pressing. Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's different when you have a wider stance. It really is different. Yeah. We do something in this. See if you can picture this. You stand close to your in the karate class, right? I have my students stand next to each other, and they stand there, feet shoulder width apart, and they just push each other, either in the shoulders or push their hands. And you see how easier it is. Depending on if you push high, it's hard to get. If you push low and underneath, it's easier to get somebody off balance. Then you start to realize, okay, where can I position my hands and shoulders to not get thrown off balance? And then you widen your stance. It's much harder to get thrown off balance and thrown behind, right? No matter where you're at, you can brace yourself a little bit differently when your feet are wider. If your feet are closer, it's hard to brace yourself. If your legs aren't bent, it's hard to brace yourself. The movie was not bad, Carlos. I mean, the ending was disappointing. Some of the scenes were pretty scary, but like a lot of screaming. And I like those movies, but the last two have been not that great. It's just like the experts are kind of being like the stupid people now. It's just, I don't know. I need to redeem myself and go see the Strangers movie in a couple weeks. That's what I need to do. So all in all, Carlos, if you were thinking of going, I would wait until it comes on TV. On TV, I wouldn't spend the money. Some of the movies get repetitive, Ant. Some of them do. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, for balance, yeah, man. Big 100%, man. Back to the Future and IMAX. That's a classic. So that's a classic. It's really hard to go wrong with Back to the Future. You're welcome, Carlos. The Smile movies, yeah, those movies they're kind of creepy. The Strangers movies are creepy too, especially the first one, the original Strangers with Liv Tyler and I don't know what the hell's his name, the guy from Felicity. I don't know what his name is, but that guy, that was a creepy movie. That was a good one to see in the theaters too, and loud banging. Like, yeah, it was creepy. I Yeah, I hear that, Beagle. Get that movie swag. I go to horror movie conventions every year, so yeah. The Smile movies are creepy. Yeah, I want to see that movie from Jordan Peele. I saw that was one of the previews last night. Him with Jordan Peele, with Marlon Wayans, Damon Wayans' son is in that. The football. Yeah, yeah. If the movies aren't Hallmark, not worth watching Christmas in sense. My wife is a huge fan of the Hallmark movies. Oh God, we'll see. Ness. I don't really find what Sherman says to be gospel, but if it's true, it's true. We'll see. Alien was good, but I like your traditional slasher movies. So traditional slashers are good for me. I don't think any that wasn't a routine fly ball. The one that he was running that way, full speed into the outfield and went over his head. That's not a routine fly ball. Nobody was going to get that wink. If that's the one you're talking about, nobody was going to get that fly ball. They had three guys running towards it. Nobody got it. That ball just fell where they weren't. I don't think anybody was going to catch that. Not even Ellie De La Cruz with his speed and Arson Judge times of the Giants resign. That's right, Arson Judge, man. I remember that. Amen. But let me let you go, folks. I appreciate you spending some time with me. All right. Wanted to just get this out there, get people thinking, right? Um, and that landing last night was a disaster. It just was a disaster. So the infield was playing in, and you know what? And that fly ball just went where they weren't. But go have a great day, everybody. I appreciate you spending some time with me, and have a great rest of the afternoon and the game and the day. We'll be back later with the lineup, and no matter what happens tonight, we'll be live. No matter what. Let's freaking go, Yankees. Peace and love to all of you. Over now.